Good morning, Academy 55 traders and everybody else on YouTube who are watching. David Kahn here on Friday, the 27th of June, 2025. It's 5:28 in the morning here in the UK, looking at the EUR USD on the 1 minute time frame, following the Academy 55 indicators and strategy on the EUR USD. So we've got news at 8 o'clock. Now it's Spanish news and it's not very big news, but there's an awful lot of it. So that might be enough to throw a few pips either way. So that's at 8 o'clock. That's in 4 minutes time now. So before we do that, we've got time to do this. Let's take the indicators off. Let's go to the daily time frame and discover what's going on. Daily wise, on the daily time frame, we've got lines of interest here and here. This is the highest it's been. Yesterday we had another high since 2021. Looks like for this week the EUR is taking very much advantage of a weak dollar. But what goes up must come down. So let's go to the 4 hourly. And as we can see on the 4 hourly, there's imbalance there, but that's a long way away, really. There's no imbalance within the next 50 odd pips, I think. So let's put it on the line chart just to see if there's any points of significance. And there's one there, look. So we will indeed mark that up. 2 points there. Oh, sorry, got the wrong. That's my one to significant the zones. That's the wrong line. Horizontal line there. 2 points of interest, 1, 2, both resisting that line there. So that's obviously a very important area. And that's where price is heading to now. So we must take note. Let's go down to the hourly quickly. There's then 2 points again. And that's about it, really. So we'll put these back on the ordinary candles, go down to the 5 minute and determine that at the moment, we have a zone up here, sell zone, and we have a buy zone here. Just like we did here, look, price went into the buy zone at 7:10 this morning. Put it down on the hourly. Oh, sorry, on the 1 minute time frame. Put our indicators back on. And at 7:15, we knew to take the next buy. So you would go long position, keeping a minimum of 2.2 pips away, but that's where that's where your stop loss would be, where the red changes to green. You would get in about there, which is 5 pips away, 2 to 1, which is there. So that's a 75% win rate, successful trade, waiting for price to get into the zones. If you was around 7:18 this morning and got out at like 20 to 8, only about 15 minutes ago, and if you was on that, congratulations. The rest of this is for educational purposes only for you, which is it is for everybody, really. Any trades taken are for educational purposes only. Not telling you to take a trade or nothing like that. It's up to yourself how you wish to proceed. But now, as you can see, we are waiting for the next sell. And now we have this Spanish news. Let's see how significant that was. Well, we've got the sell zone up there, but we had buy zones, sell zones here, so we know we're taking the next sell anyway. It will be just a better win rate if price went into there before selling. 65% chance as opposed to a 75% chance if price goes through there. But still, following the indicators, we have good results with those. So we are taking the next sell. Down here, look, is our key zone area. And as you can see, price respected that for several minutes. These support and resistance lines are drawn in for fun. They are areas to look at and consider at the time of you either being in a trade or what price is going to do when it gets to those lines, either bounce or break. Consider them like horse fences, and the horse is coming up to the fence. Will it have enough speed and energy to jump over it, or will it run alongside it, or think, you know what, this fence is too big, let's go back down again. So just consider them to be that sort of thing. So 8 o'clock's come and gone. It wasn't very much at all, was it really? But there was several of Spanish bits of news, but not enough to worry anything really. But now we're looking for the next sell because it goes buy, sell, buy, sell, buy. The next alert must be a sell. And if the conditions are right, well, I could be on it. In the meantime, we set the MT4 up. Already got my lines on. I'll take them off a minute. So make sure you've got your risk rewarded purple. If you're using the trade assistant, your lock calc in purple. All important 1% risk, because we don't risk any more than that. Even less if you feel you need to. And I like to keep this little rectangle on in case I need to close all trades just very, very quickly. There's other ways you can do this on MT4 anyway, but seeing as we've got this trade assistant, utilizing this would be a good thing to do. And I like to keep 2.2 pips away minimum stop loss to entry. So writing 22 in there is equivalent to 2.2 pips. Put the lines on, and I want to obviously waiting for the next sell. So I'm having this floating all the way up. So we're waiting for the next sell, but they are taking advantage of a very weak dollar. It's the lowest it's been for 3.5 years. And I know that because this tells me so. Dollar hovers near a 3.5 year low as traders wage on a US cap, and the euro is on more than a 3.5 year high. It's on about 4.5 year high, taking advantage of a very weak dollar. So the dollar weakens, the euro strengthens, and vice versa. That's how it is. What we call direct correlation. So we got our support and resistance zones. We know this is a sell zone. We had a previous sell zone here. So we're waiting to take the next sell whenever it presents itself. If the conditions are right, that is. And the conditions will have to look like short position, something like that in respect of the green wave turning to the red. Price coming down here, getting you 2 to 1, which would be all the way down there at the moment. That's with a 6.5 pip stop loss though. We can minimize that to 2.2. That's the minimum though. It's not, I don't think it'll be like that. It's 2.5 at the moment, but you get the picture. So that takes our 2 to 1 up to our profit target to there. And of course, that's all we need for the day. Like I said before, if you were around earlier on this morning and you waited patiently for price to get into the buy zone, which is there on the 5 minute, and took that, because the buy came there, unless you were very, very quick and got in there, which I hardly doubt, the most realistic one is there, which will give you a 5 pip stop loss between stop loss and entry, gives you a 2 to 1 there, and you would have had a nice classic trade. So if that was you, congratulations. Like I said, the rest of this must be a watching brief for you, because you're done for the day. Go out and celebrate. Have a nice day. But us other people who weren't insomniacs here in the UK and weren't around that time of the day, we're waiting for our trade. And we know we've been in previous, just before you came on air, there was a sell zone here. And indeed, there is another sell zone up there where there are more orders. But we know to take the next sell if it presents itself properly. If I see sideways movement and all that, consolidation, I might think differently. But other than that, nice to see so many people on this morning. Hello to you all. Hope you're having a good day. All the members of Academy 55. Anybody watching us on YouTube will see this, but there will be a longer delay to the trade actually taken because of the time lags and stuff like that. But everybody, Academy 55 members, are seeing this because they're in the Zoom room with me. So it's more almost instantaneous. Whatever I do, you will be seeing that if you're an Academy 55 member. So please bear that in mind if you're watching us on YouTube. In actual fact, because of all the shenanigans, I've got time to play while I finish my cup of tea. Time to play this.
Hi, this is Steve with a very short video to show you where to get the training for the indicators and tools we use inside Academy 55. So once you're logged into the members area, you'll see in the premium dashboard this section that's entitled Start Learning. And if you click here, that'll take you through to the learning library. Now, we'll say at this point, we highly recommend you watch each of these videos 2 or 3 times to get a full understanding of how everything works. Here you'll find tutorials on using the MT4 Trade Assistant and how to use the MT4 platform with the Trade Assistant. This is the longest video you'll find inside the platform. It's around 30 minutes long, well worth your time. Watch the video once, then maybe write a few questions down that you might have for yourself, and watch the video for a second time, and things will really start to make sense. By the time you watch it 3 times, you'll fully understand how everything works. So that's the longest video. It's about 30 minutes long, well worth your time. And then you can jump into individual trainings here for how to remove indicators. These videos are just a couple of minutes long. How to move MetaTrader around like you can in TradingView, trading assistant controls, how to do back testing in TradingView, how to draw vertical lines to mark out your hour, and so much more. And by the time you watch this video or see this video, there might be other trainings in this section. But everything here is well worth your time, and you find that, as I said a moment ago, from the main dashboard in the Start Learning section. Now, one more thing just to mention here. If you're looking for anything in particular, if you come down to the support name of FAQs, click on Get Support, and in this area you'll find a detailed FAQ section, and you can come through here. For example, if you're looking for an answer to a question about MetaTrader, have a look through these, and once you click through you'll find direct links to videos that give you answers to most of the questions that we get asked on a regular basis. So hopefully you found this useful, and back to your further training.
Thank you very much, Steve, fellow business partner in Academy 55. Yeah, excellent training videos he's done for us. Can't thank him enough. We don't big ourselves up too much like some people do. I guess sometimes we don't enough, really. But Steve is an excellent presenter and broadcaster in his own right, and he's the one who does all the admin for us at Academy 55. I do the trading. He does trading as well when I'm on holidays, etc. And he does very well as well. So between us, yeah, we need to recognize that, because we don't do that too often. Being British and all that, we're a little bit. I think it's a national thing. We don't sort of talk about ourselves too much and take it for granted. Everybody just knows, but it ain't like that, really. Some people don't realize what hard work went on through this to get this up and going and maintain it. And Steve is doing an excellent job in doing that. So big up for Steve, I think. Don't do it enough. Anyway, so are we going to bounce or break off this line that we drew for ourselves earlier on? That's the thing. Because we can't do nothing at the moment. All we can do is watch as this buy that happened at 7:15 this morning here in the UK carries on trending upwards. But what goes up must come down eventually. Going to go on to take the indicators off a minute and go on to the 15-minute time frame and discover that we have large areas of imbalance being formed because of that. And where we are at the moment, we're waiting for price to come down to there before we can get into a trade. And as you can see, there is no selling power that side, no selling power that side. So really, it's price loves balance, and to gain that balance, they need to do that eventually. But are they going up here to get some? Are they seeing sell orders up here? We don't know. Are there enough of them to warrant going up there? Is the dollar still looking very, very weak? Are they going to take a chance and go up and get all these sell orders up here before coming back down again? Or are they going to come down first, equalize this, and then go back up again? We don't know. All we know is we can trade what we see. Putting the indicator back on again. So we will see, I guess. Well, we will. No guessing about it. We will see what's going to go on with you in the next 45 minutes anyway, at least. Well, not anyway. So any latest news? No, still the dollar hovers near a 3.5-year low. So is it going to bounce or break off this line? It's forming a little line a little bit lower. These things are drawn on a higher time frame, so they're not precise. So perhaps that line needs to come down to there, for example, because it's hovering about on this area now. Is it going to break it, or is it going to bounce and come back down here and maybe give us a sell? We don't know. A little bit unlucky yesterday. Everybody was on live, took a trade, 2 minute, two pips away from achieving target, and it decided to come back and knock me out. But that's trading. That's where it goes. Right. So this is it's maybe bouncing off that area there and coming back down again. So we'll go on to our MT4 and just lie in wait and see what happens. If anything does, where that line is there now, that's where I want to take my take profit. Sorry, my stop loss. My stop loss will be, assuming we have a sell alert and everything's red, red, red. My stop loss will be there, where that line is now. My job is to minimize the distance between stop loss and entry, but also bearing in mind getting confirmation that we are having a deeper sell. Just don't put a small stop loss on for the sake of it and hope. You've got to have all these various confirmations in place as well. Hence the red, red, red. Parallels of flip above, sell alert. All those things should be in place. And that gives you a 65 to 75% chance win rate. By doing that, and that combined with the fact we only take 1 or 2 trades a day, and we only have like a 10% target. Well, I do anyway, on the month. Psychologically, that suits me. That suits my psychological profile. So really, I'm not pushing all the month. I give myself some time off and recharge, reset my mindset, ready for the next month. And what you do is if you don't trade more, you upscale more. In other words, you copy your trades onto other platforms. You don't trade more, you upscale more if you want to. But you don't put any pressure on yourself. The least pressure to make it achievable. So, Academy 55 members, if anybody's got any questions or anything, what you've seen this morning about the trading, you can write them in the chat. I'll get to see them in a minute. And if I can answer them, I surely will. But right now, we've got a surge down. We've got the parallels of flip. But we've got to wait for all these to turn red. And that might mean that 2.2 might get larger and larger, the distance, because we've got to wait for them to go red first. But that's the minimum 2.2 pips away. So we can't just take a trade now because it's still green. Ah, we've got a sell alert. And this is where I want my stop loss there. So I'll lock that in because it's not turned red yet, but if this carries on lower, that'll go red the next candle. And we've already got a red volume ribbon. We've got a sell alert. I'm anticipating that's usually the last one to turn from green to red. So sometimes it's anticipatory, but as long as it's showing, if you imagine a clock face, if that's going like horizontal, like 3 o'clock on the clock face, that you can anticipate that a little bit, wee bit, because within like, it can turn within like 10, 20 seconds. But right now, I'm no, the wave has just turned red, so we've got a red volume ribbon. Wave has just turned red. Parabol SAR is above. So I'm maybe looking for price to get down to these levels here to give me the confirmation of a deeper sell taking place. So I've got my cursor over the sell. Three 3.7 pips now. I want to give it a little bit more because I'm seeing this down here, and there was a buy order pushed it up again. So really, I want it to sort of get past this level here, but that in turn gives me a higher stop loss to entry price level. But I feel that's a more prudent, safe way to do things for me. So that's what I'm doing. And the trend line's still green. Because it's been creating higher highs and higher lows. But it hasn't now. It's changed. Hopefully, it's changed because that's a lower low than that one. They were higher lows, and now we're going lower lows again. So hopefully, we have changed conditions and gone in for more of a sell. But I want being cautious. I want to wait for it to get below there. Really, as long as the 2% is above the purple line, that's what I'm looking at. Mm. Yeah, we're stalling around that area again. So I want a final little push to give me a bit more confidence about taking it lower. Like whatever happens historically usually happens with your trading. Now the trend line, as you notice up there, has turned red. So everything's good to go officially. But I'm just waiting for that little bit more confirmation, a little bit lower. Being very cautious as I am, because it might come back up again like it did there. But if it breaks that, I'm in. And of course, if it doesn't and fills that imbalance there, which it could very well do, I would have been out of the trade already if I'd placed the sell already. But don't know. It's resting on that area, isn't it? Right, I'm in because it's broken that line now. So I've got as much confirmation as I need, but I've got a 5.9 pip stop loss. But I'm happy because my 2% is above the purple line, just in case it comes down to meet that and bounces and breaks. I'd be less happy if my 2% was down here. So really, that's quite a quite a good trade at the minute. But you can have the best setup ever, and like yesterday, I thought it was a good setup, which it was, but we didn't have the volume to go all the way to meet my 2% target, and it came back and wiped us out, and it is what it is. So you've got to be prepared for 1% loss. I'd like you guys to treat 1% the same as 2%. A 2% win, the same as a 1% loss. Now, these are all red. We know we're going to get green somewhere. This line down here where we had a bit of selling power and then all of a sudden it went to buying power down here. This area here may be of concern, just like that area was concerned, and I was waiting for it to break that. Down here is an area of concern, but like I said, it's only concern because I'm watching it. Now, we know we got a 65% chance, well, more than that really, because we know that this is an old sell zone where price went through the old sell zone, even though it did disappear. Right, I'm going to draw it up on trading view a minute. 5.9, I'll remember that, 5.9. So we grab that over, so there we go, 5.9, which is down there. I know that because it says 59. I don't know whether it's big enough for you to see that, but there, that means my 2-to-1 is there. Just above. Ah, right. And look, we've got a support and resistance zone here. So this area here, is it going to bounce or break? I don't know. But like I say, all of this stuff we've already committed. We're in the trade. So this is just mental anguish, isn't it? This is just mental anguish that you don't need. So that's why I always say go and make a cup of tea. Go and make a cup of coffee. Go and take a breather somewhere. But no point watching the trade because you can't will it to do what you want it to do. So we've got to accept a 1% loss or a 2% gain. Simple as. And treat those two things in the same fashion. No new news. So we'll take the indicators off, go on to the 5-minute time frame, and discover we've got, see, look, now look, that came down to sort out that imbalance there, look. But we've got imbalance down here. Now, is it important? Can they afford to go down to take that imbalance out on this candle here? They've done it with this one. They might be coming up to do this imbalance here, in which case we might be out for another 1%. We don't know. We don't know. We're going to find out. I know that much. Yesterday, I could have broke even because the stop loss came down to my entry level. And I could have put my stop loss to my entry level because price came down here, if you remember. About 2 pips away from my 2%, and I went back up again. And if it had done that, I would have broke even on the trade, but I didn't do that. Because sometimes price goes up to there and then comes back down again, and then I've seen that many, many times. But today isn't going to be that situation anyway, because the parallel SAR, as you can see, is here anyway. So, all right, okay. So I'm facing a 1% loss or a 2% gain. And if you get a 1% loss, no problem at all. You just giving back your money to the broker or whoever you are with for a little bit of time. And you have confidence in the fact that because you've done all this back testing, you followed me, you followed yourself, and you've won so many in the past that it's not a big deal, this 1%, if you do lose, because we know we'll get it back. Because we are on a retrace trade, because price is above the purple line now. So there is a buy bias going on, and indeed we got a buy signal. So that's not good. But it's not total. I mean, I have seen candles come down and people just and indeed it's not what we call painted. That's painted. That'll stay there. Will never move now. But the buy alert you saw there, obviously, if it goes there, it'll stay painted, and we will have a bigger buy bias, and we could be out for another 1%. But like I say, it really is no big deal. Just a shame, but not the end of the world. I have seen price come down again and carry on down, so it's no by no means a done deal, that buy alert. Because we'll put it back onto because as you notice, that is also that wick there has wicked into that imbalance, tapped into that imbalance there. And I've seen this many times. It taps into the imbalance and then comes back down again. I'm on the 5-minute time frame. So that situation does happen. Taps into that imbalance and then comes back down again to sort out these like it did with this one, look, because it sorted out that imbalance and decided to go back up again, but we got imbalances down here that need to be sorted out. So depends when they wish to do that. If on their bigger picture, the bankers and the investors and all that sort of on their bigger picture, they might wish to stay in this zone. In that case, they would be eager to equalize that imbalance down there, or if their bigger picture is to go even higher to get these sell orders up here, then they might do that first and then come back down. It's all about timing. We don't know. We don't know. We're going to find out though. So let's put it back on the MT4. So we're going sideways with it now. And we still might be okay, despite that buy alert. It all depends what news occurs between now and the next like half an hour. If the dollar's still struggling, then the euro will get higher. But if the dollar is making a comeback, the euro will get lower. Now, a lot of you might be saying, now it's reached the entry. You could get out here. Yeah, of course you could get out here, but this is the trade. I've seen it happen many times before where price will come down, swallow that parallel chart, and all of a sudden you've got a deeper sell going on. I'm prepared for a 1% loss or a 2% gain, simple as. And I'm quite happy with it, with both scenarios. Trusting in the system, red, red, red for a sell. But I'm well prepared for the fact that this might come up and take us out for a 1% loss. It really is not a big deal. So we're in this position. How are you feeling? Nervous? Hope not. Anxiety creeping in? Hope not. Because price will do what it's going to do. And you just trust your back testing and stuff like that. Now the wave's turned to green. So maybe there is a bigger buy going on. Or it could get to this tap out area and just consolidate along. I suggest we're going to be out, but hey, that's trading. It's just a bit of a shame, that's all, but no big deal, really, like I said. Because we are essentially in a zone here. There's no big things going on as far as the euro is concerned. And indeed, we've just been taken out because it's filling out that imbalance now. It might come up to here and bounce off that and come back down again. But it is what it is. And we had a 1% loss, but not to worry. Not a big deal. So, all that remains for me to say, ladies and gentlemen, is have yourself a great weekend. And we'll come back stronger again next week. Start of July next week already. My goodness, where's the time gone? Soon be Christmas. Anyway, with that being said, have yourselves a great day. Have yourselves a great weekend. And we'll speak soon. Bye for now.